Good evening, everybody. My name is Brandon McKinney, and I'm going to be talking about the rewards of athletics after high school. Um, Before we get to the nitty gritty of the topic, um, first thing parents have to do is ask themselves, does my kid really deserve a scholarship? What has my kid done to deserve a school, a major university that pays $50,000, $60,000 a year for them to come play any type of sport for their university. Second is, has my child done? Does my child have what it takes to make it on the next level, whether it be football, basketball, cross country, volleyball, or so on. Those are some questions that you have to ask yourself. How much goes into getting a scholarship? What's the process? I don't think people really understand the process of getting a scholarship, getting recruited, getting noticed, possibly doing too much to get noticed and get different kinds of scholarships. Also understanding different kind of money that's out there, not just for a major university, but for smaller universities, FCS schools, D2 schools, and D3 schools. Um, what people don't understand is scholarship pays for room and board, different kind of transportation when when playing with the team or whatnot, to and from games, being fed on road trips, also being fed, having a meal plan as well. Those are the other few things that do go into being an athlete at a major university or at any university. When it comes to getting clothing and different types of things like iPhones and things like that, when you go to bowl games, certain tournaments or whatnot, those things are given to the kids at some point as gifts, which is totally legal. But for just for going to school or whatnot, just getting it from say a coach or a booster or whatnot, it is very illegal to get those type of things, those type of perks or whatnot. But there are some school issue clothes, those type of things to represent the university that kids are able to get when being an athlete at the school. As far as flying in parents and those kind of things, I know for sure football, they just passed in a rule that they are allowed to give parents money, if I'm not mistaken, to fly to the bowl games, possibly pay for their room and their hotel rooms or whatnot when they get there. And I believe that money is actually reimbursed to the parents after the fact, after the bowl games or whatnot. So there are some perks to being an athlete, a student athlete at a major university. They are you have to be careful about what you have to be careful about how you receive some of those perks. If it's not from the school or school issued, if you get it from a booster or just a family friend, the issue that's going on at Ohio State now, it could be illegal. It could be looked upon, frowned upon by the NCAA, and so on. So those are some good things that are given to the student athletes and the parents or whatnot. There are some things that I know when I was in school and seeing the kids now. They have Pell Grant, where there's money given depending upon the living situation where the kids come from. They have what they call a student needy fund. You're able to go buy clothes or whatnot with those type of things. But like I said, that's like the background. It depends on what the student background is. A lot of students, come from different kind of backgrounds or whatnot. So just kind of depends on where you are in life or where your parents, what are they doing, how much money they make. You're able to receive some of those amenities from the school. As far as the differences between NCAA universities, As you can see on my shirt, I went to Michigan State, uh, played there 4 years, 2-year captain. Um, you know, it kind of depends on what is going on at your university. I have a lot of friends that went to Ohio State, and so a lot of things were very different. You know, some of the perks were different. Um, at Ohio State, they take football a lot more serious than, let's say, a Michigan State, which that's not to say that Michigan State doesn't take football serious. It's just the fact that, you know, Ohio State is on a different level than Michigan State when it comes to a more of a winning tradition, and the expectations are a little bit more. So some of the perks, some of the amenities are a little different. But at the end of the day, you know, I wouldn't trade my experience for the world or anything like that. You know, I still love Michigan State. I'll always cheer for Michigan State. And a lot of our stories are similar. But so, for example, our living conditions were not the same. You know, I would like to say that our living conditions were like the projects at Michigan State. There's an apartment complex we call Cherry Lane. It just kind of reminds you of low-income housing as opposed to Ohio State, where you see a lot of guys have really nice apartments. You know, I went to a few apartments even when I graduated from Michigan State, and I was able to look and see like, wow, like these guys are living like me. And I'm out of high school. You know, I have a job. I'm out of college. I have a job. You know, I'm making good money, and I'm just still living, you know, barely trying to keep up with those guys. So, you know, there are a lot of differences like that with university. And then I would talk to some guys who, you know, had different kind of perks, not as good as what I was getting when I was at Michigan State. But, you know, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, and it gets like that sometimes. As far as revenue, depending upon how good your team is, and I'm speaking from a football perspective because that's where I know most of this information. Depending upon how good your team is, say like Ohio State again, and I'll use them because I'm very familiar with them. I'm from Ohio. You know, they go to the Rose Bowl or some type of bowl game, big bowl game every year, and you know, they get a lot of money, you know, just for going to bowl games or whatnot. You know, some of those bowl games give out a few $1,000,000, and they are able to split it with the athletic department. So that's where a lot of the money is generated from. So that's why that's why I hear a lot of teams that say, we need to get bowl eligible because you get money for going to bowl games. You get bowl eligible. Let's say Michigan State goes to let's just throw a regular bowl out there, a Cotton Bowl, and next thing you know, Michigan State gets $2 million from the Cotton Bowl. So they're able to take the $2 million and disperse it throughout the whole athletic department. And they also disperse the money from ticket sales, everything that goes on with around game day every week. I was looking up in 2016, I believe Michigan State generated $64 million. So a lot of that money goes to the university. A lot of that money gets dispersed into the athletic department. As far as pay for play, you know, there are some scenarios I do like. Some scenarios are, you know, I think kids, they should come up with some type of stipend for everyone. You know, a certain amount for FBS school, a certain amount for FCS, and a certain amount for Division II and Division III and so on. I think everything should be dispersed equally, not what conference not because of what conference you're in, or not because of what how much money the school generates, because I think that will deter athletes from going to the school that they really like. They'll just be going to a school that gives them the most money. Now you have pro teams now, so everybody gets paid equally. I still think the recruiting will be the same. Another way they could disperse money is to, when the kid gets there, give him his scholarship check, and it's their responsibility to pay their room and board every month, pay for their books, and they're allowed to keep whatever's left. So and not we're not just paying the kids, but we're teaching the kids responsibility as well, giving them life skills that they'll need beyond college, because a lot of these kids are not going to go to the pros, and that's just what it is. So if you these are just a few things that I've experienced in my college career, and I really hope that it could help parents and help the kids make a decision and understand what goes into being a college athlete. Just a few things that comes comes with being a college athlete. I know I wasn't able to get into everything, but just a few things. So thank you.